there's just one bad scene in there. It's okay. It's just PG-13. It's not that bad. It's just, yeah, there's one bad thing in there, this happens and that happens, but you know, I can lower my eyes. I'll take a second look, but I'll lower my eyes eventually. You know? In other words, you say it's not that big of a deal. It's okay, you can let things slide. We, as parents, have to become vigilant about what we are allowing our children to be exposed to, especially at early ages. When they get older, whether you like it or not, they will see all of those things. Whether you like it or not, they'll be exposed. If they're going to go to college, if they're going to get a job, if they're going to go to high school, even if they go to Islamic high school, I don't care. They will be exposed to those things because it's as common as oxygen. You can't ignore it. But in the early ages, you want to build their guard up. So when they get to later ages, they're able to fight it off and say, no, that's disgusting. I'm not going to be a part of it. It is possible to raise young boys and girls that go to public school in this country and still take pride in their Islam and walk down the hallway with pride without looking and gawking at people. They can look down and walk down with pride anyway. They can do that. We have that ability to do that, to raise those kinds of children, but we have to make that into a mission. There has to be pretty much a campaign in the Muslim community. It's critical. That's the first thing. The second thing is we have to instill into our children at all times a respect for family. But respect for family never comes until there's love for family. And love for family never comes until you spend time with your children. How many of you are having dinner with your kids every day? How many of you are talking to your kids for 30 to 45 minutes every day? When was the last time you actually sat down and had a conversation? You don't. You don't have time. You're working. You come back home, you're exhausted, you don't want to deal with it. They come over, your little kids come over, hey, Dad, look what I made. I don't want to watch it. I'm watching the news. Go away. Go play with your toys. Didn't I get you an iPad Touch? Go play with that. Get lost. You know? And what happens is we ignore our children at the early ages. When they get older, it's no surprise they ignore us. It's no surprise. In this society, more than anything else for Muslim parents, you have to befriend your children. Spend a lot of time with them. They should see you as the first line of their first and best friends. When something happens in school, they should feel no hesitation in telling you. They should not think, oh, my dad's going to kill me if I tell him. No, my dad's the only one who's going to help me if I tell him. If your kids don't feel like that, you're failing. A lot of times our kids are scared to talk to us. They're terrified. So they don't talk to us. And they don't talk to us, that still means they need to talk to someone, so they talk to their non-Muslim friends and get non-Muslim advice. Because we shut the door for them because we're too harsh. So we have to learn to be open in communication and loving. And that will build respect for our children in the long run. That's the second thing that I'm suggesting. Here's the third. You know what I said the third thing was? Where do they get respect from? From garnering attention, from arrogance, from ego, these things. If you raise your children right, you know what they will learn? Respect comes from nowhere, except from the words, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. When you accept this religion of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, وَلِلَّهِ الْعِزَّةُ وَلِرَسُولِهِ وَلِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And only Allah owns nobility and dignity and honor and authority, and so do His messengers, and it belongs to Him and to the believers. Believers have this dignity and nobility that nobody else has. If you raise your children right, you know what's going to happen by the time they get to high school? Even if you send them to public high school, they will see all kinds of filth, and they will look at it and not say, I wish I could be like that. They'll look at it and say, I feel so sorry for these pathetic people. They have no idea what's ahead of them. They have no purpose in their life. Allah gave me such clarity about what my life is about. I already have direction in my life. And these people are so pointless. They're losers now. They'll be even bigger losers 10 years from now. And 200 years from now, when they're in their graves, they'll be amazing losers. I feel bad for them. I feel sorry for them. You'll start looking down at corruption instead of being jealous of it. You'll start feeling bad for people who are victims of it instead of wanting to be like them or being tempted by them. That's the kind of kids we want to raise. That see their Islam as something that makes them superior to everything else. They're not arrogant, but they understand what Allah has given them is better. وَمَا عِنْدَ اللَّهِ خَيْرٌ. What Allah has is better. If they could see the world like that, man, I tell you, the world would be at their feet. People will come to them and say, man, what is it, man? What makes you tick, bro? I don't get you. You're not like everybody else. This has actually happened to me before. And it happened to a lot of young people before too. You know, you're in an elevator, you keep your eyes low, the woman comes to me, you didn't look at me once. Why did you do that? I was like, I don't need to. I'm married. And I fear God. Because what religion are you? I was like, I'm of the religion that respects women. And I didn't tell her. So she had to ask me like, what religion? What religion? What religion? Islam. Sure. When we stand up for our religion, I tell you, people around us will notice. People around us will notice. And so I'm done talking about the youth. Now I'm going to talk to the youth. Just to them. In this society, in American, these are my own observations, you do not have to agree with them. You don't. You really don't. But I'll share with you what I'm convinced of at this point. In this society, Muslims still are very alienated. We're not connected to the world around us. Most of the neighbors of this masjid don't know this masjid, don't know this place. Most of them have no idea who we are. I know people that became Muslim that used to live next door to the masjid. I know a brother, Joshua from Florida, who literally used to go study the Bible next door to the masjid. He was memorizing like studies in the Bible, he was getting advanced studies in Christianity. And he used to walk past the masjid to go to the church to study for 10 years. And one day he was going to his church class during Friday prayer, and somebody thought he's Muslim, so they said, come on, khutbah started. So he just followed them. And he went in and he took Shahada. And then he said, I've been here 10 years, I have no idea who you guys are. That's not my fault, that's your fault. I should have known. The first point I'm trying to make to everybody here, as part of this discussion, talking to the youth, is the society doesn't know who we are. They don't know. But you know what? The only people that are actually knee-deep into society, and they're in it every single day, you know who they are? Our youth. Our youth are not cut off from society like we are. Our youth are deep into society. They play basketball with this society. They have Facebook friends with this society. They spend weekends with this society. They hang out with this society. They have study groups with this society. They will get careers with this society, go to college with this society. They have friends that are in part and parcel of this country, and this society and this culture. The only real ambassadors to Islam we have are not speakers. Not people like me sitting at a mic. These are not the real ambassadors of Islam. The real representatives of this religion are the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of young Muslims in this country. They more than anything else represent Islam. They more than anything else are in a position to introduce Islam to people that you and I will never meet. They see people that we will never see. They have connections with people we will never have connections with. So you guys, you need to first of all understand your value in the religion. The young people here, they need to understand what you guys are worth to this cause. You are a critical component of the work of Islam. Allah has made you for a really, really high purpose. Now let me tell you something. Just give you with an example and appreciation of what I'm trying to say to you. Just assume for a moment that you bought a very, very, very expensive, high-maintenance computer. The job of that computer is to run very high-level, hundreds of thousands of dollars expensive architectural software or 3D software, things like that. You do very high-level work with this computer. Okay? So it's not something cheap, it's something extremely expensive, and it's used in very professional settings. So you have it. And what you do with it, with your entire couple of years, while you had that computer, all you did was play video games on it. All you did was watch YouTube on it. Is that a disservice to what you have? What Allah has given you, first of all this Islam, then your youth, then to put you in a society where everybody else is heading in a different direction, Allah has given you more valuable than everybody else around you. You have the most precious item at your disposal. Now if you throw it away, you have no appreciation for what you have. You are more answerable to Allah than anyone else. And again, I'm talking to you. In this country, in America, we consider even 20-year-olds, 22-year-olds, 25-year-olds, they're just kids. Let them have some fun. They're just kids. In Islam, the moment you hit puberty, you should be treated like an adult. You should be given responsibilities like an adult. You should take responsibility like an adult. You shouldn't be behaving like a child anymore. You should expect to be treated like one and act like one yourself. You can't be a goofball. And you know, the only reason you're a goof-off is because you're hanging out with all these other goof-offs. So you need to find older company that is more mature than you. Automatically you'll start becoming more mature too. Because that's what our religion accepts from you. You can say, they're just kids, they're just hanging out, they're just doing their thing. They'll grow up eventually. You think you're going to give that excuse before Allah on Judgment Day? They'll grow up eventually? I was just chilling. I was just hanging out, passing the time. When I was older, I was going to get serious.